What up, YouTube? It's your boy Detroit Love with another video. Today we're going to tackle the problem, the hurdle, the burden of drilling those darn holes. Let's get it started. So one of the biggest fears that all of us have when we go into a new situation and deal with new things, sometimes there's that the fear itself is greater than the actual task that's at hand. And when it comes to modifying the Arcade1Up cabinets, it is really not a whole lot to it, but the biggest challenge that I hear all the times in the comments is if I can just get over that fear of dealing with drilling the holes for your buttons, then I would go ahead with the project. So today I just want to try to help ease that concern and get over that hump so that you can get over that barrier and get into the wonderful world of modding your Arcade1Up cabinet. And so, like with most things, if you have the proper tools, then the tools do the work. You just simply have to manipulate those tools so they perform the way they should. And so today, we're going to talk about drilling holes for your buttons and joystick. Now, you're going to need a power drill of some sort. Nothing fancy. Whatever you're using for your for screwing in screws that's powered is most likely going to be strong enough to do what you need to do here. So you need a drill, and then the easiest thing to use is this step bit. Now they call it a step bit because you see these ridges here, and they're labeled, but it's kind of hard to see. But the largest is 1 1/8 inch. 1 inch and 1/8. That is the perfect size for your standard buttons. Now this button is a little smaller, and so that one will be a little different, so we'll work on that later. That's where the step is going to come into in effect. But if this 1 1/8 bit, you can't really mess up as long as you go straight down, and that's going to be the perfect size for your button. Obviously, the smaller buttons, if you get a kit that has the coin button and the the coin button smaller, then you would need to not go all the way through. So you just have to stop short. Okay, so it's really simple. All you have to do is just put that step bit on the end here. So you just turn this until it's big enough to receive that, and then tighten it up. And like with anything, you want to practice. So get yourself something you can practice with, because the drill is going to do the same thing no matter what the material is. It just may be easier or harder depending on the type of wood or type of surface that you're drilling through. So we're just going to use this little thin cardboard. This thing is thinner than anything you'll have on the Arcade1Up. But we're going to look here. Got a little sticky tape here. This side is duller than this side. This is slightly different. So we're going to say that this shinier side, illustrated by these little clips, the clips are up on this. We're going to say that's the top of our surface, the surface of our wood. And why that's important is because if you drill the wrong way, you could damage the surface or the area of the wood that's going to be shown, because this one side is going to be seen from outside the machine, and the other is going to be behind the scenes and not seeing. So you want to make sure you're drilling on the surface side so that when it break through, any rougher edges would be not seen. And so it's really simple. So the most difficult thing, if you want to call it that, is not drilling the hole. It's just making sure you have your holes where you want them to be. And it really doesn't matter where they are. Most people just measure, an exact distance from both sides and a distance, the same distance from the top, and to pick a point. I only know of seeing one person that was really fixated in making sure that his coin buttons matched up with the start buttons at the top. And so that was very important to him. So it really doesn't matter. It's just what's important to you. But I would say not so much to position of where they are on the board. The more important thing is how they look aesthetically. So, you don't want to have one button up here and another button way down here, right? So you just want to make sure they're lined up so that they look nice. So in order to determine where you want to make your drill holes, you're just going to need a couple of things. You're either going to need something to measure with, a measuring tape or a ruler. And the ruler will work because you're not going, even this ruler is not long enough to go across that front panel if you're going to put your holes there, but you're not needing to do that. If you determine a distance, you're going to be, say, 4 inches from the side and 3.5 inches from the top. Whatever you decide, you can do that with a standard ruler. And you're going to need something to mark. Now, I have this silver Sharpie, and that works great when I'm doing the front panel because the front panel is black and this stands out. I can put my dot on there and I can see it, versus if I was using pencil or something black. But for this color board, I can use anything. So again, I'm not going to be 100% exact here in this demonstration. I just want to show you the principles of it. So we're just going to measure this 3 inches from the top and 3 inches from the bottom. So I'm going to eyeball it just so I have an idea of where that's going to be on the board, just so I'm in the pretty close to the area to start with. And I'm going to put a mark here at 3 inches, and then from the top so I was a little low there. Check that again, 3 inches. So I'll just make a plus. Just make a plus sign this time. So I have the one mark. And we'll do the same thing from this side. So we'll go, and I could, because this is long enough, I can sort of get my first line this way, at least the preliminary line. Just so I'm in the general area. I'll come 3 inches down, and that matches up pretty well with that line. And I just want to go 3 inches from the side. So I went a little too far that way, so I can just mark that. All right, now just put a cross on here so I have a center point. All right, so I have my 2 points here. So I got the one mark here and the one mark there. And so once you have your mark, we're ready to drill. All right, so we just need our step bit, and remember we can go all the way through. And so you want to have some way to secure your board so it's not so much movement when you're drilling, and you just want to go straight down. Now, some people may take a smaller bit and just get it like a pilot hole started. You can do that. That way it's not sliding around. So I'm gonna put this close to this corner. And just try and make sure I'm in that center. All right, so you see it started. Now, I said all that. Am I going the right way? Yeah, this is, you see how it's tearing? Now, this is going to tear more than wood will, but okay, so I can just go straight through. So I went straight through. And I can actually just loosen this. I can back out if I want. And since my arm was blocking that view, I'm just going to drill another one just so you can see the tool in action. But if I don't want to risk making it any larger than the knees, I can just unscrew that and take that out. Okay. Now again, this is cardboard, so this is going to tear a little more than wood, but it's still not a big deal. You know, this, as long as you don't go too big, this is going to be covered with the button. So if we just take one of our buttons, we put that through. See, that's covered. You don't see. I got a little roughness I can see there that I may have to just clean up. And you can take a little piece of sandpaper or something just to clean your edges so there's no debris there. But you can go straight through with that tool and you'll get the perfect hole size. Okay, so we just do our other side the same way. Just try and go straight down. Make sure I'm not sliding. Now this time I didn't go all the way through. Just cut it a little short. Keep it spinning. I can come right back out. So if I keep it spinning, I can come back out with very little resistance. And so, clean that hole up a little bit. Now that button will go in there just the same, okay? Now, when you get your button, sometimes it may have your micro switch attached. Just observe how it looks, or have another one but you just have to take that off. There's no big deal. Just have to pop that off in order to get that button through. And find where I can get my nail in, and then just pop it off. And just remember how it goes on. Have another one standing by. You can see very easily what to do to get it back on. Unscrew this, fit that through there, and it's just the same. Whether it's LED or non-LED, convex or concave, doesn't matter. And then you got plenty of depth to get this screwed on to your board with no issue. And see how it's a little raggedy, but I can clean it up on the bottom as well. All right, screw, clean up my edges on the bottom, same as the way I did on the top. Okay, screw that on. And it really doesn't matter, you know, the thickness of it doesn't matter. The tool is going to do the same thing. All right, so we have our coin buttons equal distance. And so now let's look at the smaller button. It's just a slight change in how we would handle it. So we get our ruler, determine where we want this button to go. We'll try and put this center of this. So we'll see that from center to center is roughly about 5.5 inches. So half of 5 is 2.5, so 3 inches. So we just need to make our mark at 3 inches. Trying to line this up as best we can, just so it looks right. So we'll say 3 inches. We'll make a mark here. And the marking you're gonna have to do on the face because you want to go through the face. So you don't want to have too many marks that's going to show up. So 3 inches, I'm just going to put this up here in the center somewhere, just so it's closer to where I want it to be. And we came 3 inches down last time, and we'll come 3 inches down. Would it be a smaller button? I'm not sure if I need to be 3 inches or you know, higher or lower. Would it be a smaller button? But I'm going to guess it's going to still be the same. And that doesn't look, that look like it's over too much. Let me just recheck that. 3. It looks like it's not, but the measurements say it is, and I think it's just because the way the buttons are shaped, it looks like it's not quite center. All right, so we're going to use the same tool, but we're just not going to go all the way through. So the good thing is we can always stop and make it bigger. We can't, if we make it too big, we can't make it smaller. So we'll drill until we, and boy, that just doesn't look centered. I'm gonna go from the edge, from edge to edge. That's like 2 2/8. Gonna go this way. That's way shorter, so I'm not gonna, if I go from edge to edge, it's like 4 1/4, so I'm gonna say 2 1/8, or it's 4, yeah, it's 4 and a, four and 2/8. I'm gonna say 2 1/8. So that's pretty close, but it's over to the right a little bit. So I'm just gonna screw just to the right, to the left of this mark. I'm going here. All right, so I'm gonna eyeball it. Just eyeball it, and just have my button available with this nut off, and just try it a couple times. That's too small. Just go a little bit deeper. Still a little tight. Almost there. And I think that's going to be it. Yep. So we just clean up our edge a little better. All right. And there we have it. You know, whether that's off or not, that's close enough where nobody's gonna notice anything. Okay, and that's it. That's all it takes. Now, you can practice on thicker wood as well. So here's my board that I was practicing on before. Now, I used to recommend this kit that had a bunch of step bits. Had a bunch of different size step bits, and there's actually one that's like the perfect size for the smaller holes, but there's not one that's the perfect size for the regular size hole. So that's why I don't recommend it, because it's better to have one that you can go all the way through for a normal hole, to me, and just stop short for another one. So one of these bits, I think, is this one, because I can go straight through with this for the smaller hole, but the bigger one you couldn't go all the way through for even the normal size. So I don't recommend this. Just take the guesswork out of it. But what I can show you with this test hole, I was having issues with that bigger size. See here how you have it's like an inner ring inside of that. When the board is thicker and you can't go all the way through, it's going to cause a problem, because you have to cut short, and you can't cut short and go all the way through a thick board. So again, this is going to work the same. You know, we got the bit we can go all the way through for a regular hole. So let's just do this with thicker board so you can see. It's going to be more effort, but the tool does the work. All right, so you saw the board start to spin. The tool wants to lock into the wood. So that's the thing you'll have to deal with thicker wood. But as long as I hold this, sometimes you want to go through the other side. All right, so that should be a perfect hole. That's our hole there, in the middle one, for our regular size button. I'll do the one that takes the less to unscrew. So the point I'm making here is, you want to practice on something that's not your final product first, so you get comfortable with the tool, because it's not difficult, it's just unfamiliar to you. So see there? Perfect. See how thick that is? It's like a 1/2 inch, 3/4, probably 3/4 inch. I guess I don't have to guess. I got a ruler right in front of me. Somewhere between a 1/2 inch and 3/4. But that doesn't matter. Your buttons that we recommend is big enough to get through this, as well as the Arcade1Up, because the Arcade1Up is thinner than this. But you see there, perfect. You don't see anything wrong with that. This is hardwood, so it's going to have very little issues to clean up here. You saw the cardboard looked much rougher, but that's a clean hole that tool makes. So it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is getting it in the right position that you want it. Measure, remeasure to get it perfect, so that you end up with the result that you want. Okay? Easy peasy cover girl. Hey guys, I hope this information helps you get started, motivated, going with your project so that you too can have a modified Arcade1Up cabinet. So guys, subscribe to the channel, like the video, make your comments below. I'd love to see you, man. So until next time guys, I'll see you on the web.